Thank you, Mike, and welcome to round 6, not round 6, round 7 of AOR GT Sport League Constructors Challenge. And we are here at the amazing Fuji International Speedway, which is in the foothills of the Mount Fuji in Japan. And it is one of the longest straights on in any motorsport track, which you see Hasnain blasting down there on the Ford right now. It is 1.475 kilometers. That is just under 1 mile in length, 0.917 miles. And it does have the FIA Grade 1 license, which means Formula 1 can indeed race here, and they have in the past. It took over for Suzuka when Suzuka was down for renovations. It took over for the 2007 and 2008 races. And Super GT and Super Formula are raced here, as well as Asian Le Mans. And the FIA World Endurance Championship do a 6-hour race here. But looking into this this round, so far only H Racing Green and Wobbuffet have been on the front row in Group 3 cars. All 3 times they've shared the front row. H Racing Green has 2 poles and Wobbuffet have 1. Lap times are likely to be in the 1:38. So far only H Racing Green and Brownski have done it in practice from the open practice sessions that we host. And Mick is looking to be quite quick in qualifying, and could possibly do get up into the second row should he do well enough. If H Racing Green does indeed grab pole for this round, he would overtake Ash Racer as the driver with the most poles here at AOR GT Sport. So looking at the feature race, the fuel looks like it'll go about 17 or 18 laps. And lap times are looking to be about in the mid-39s, dropping to late 40s late in the stint. Pit window realistically is between laps 10 and 13, and there was a patch in Gran Turismo Sport which changed the updated pit lane times. The 2-stop is no longer a viable option at this track and is far too slow. Pit stop loss is about 20 seconds compared to a racing lap. Ari looking very quick early on, but tyres drop off earlier than the others around him, and will likely to get pole and then drag the field with him if he stays P1 into turn 1. Brownski is looking comfortable second position. Him and H Racing Green are a good 0.3 seconds ahead of anyone else. And will probably challenge later on in the stints, but early on H Racing Green has the advantage. Stevo and Mick and Wobbuffet is likely to be the race for the last spot on the podium. Stevo is likely due to fuel saving and losing less in the pits, but he's struggled in qualifying in recent rounds and could easily be on for another go through last to first race again. Ferraris, once again, as always, are looking quick around here, and the Fords look like they're going to struggle on tyres, but are quick, especially down the straights. When we get around to the sprint race, tyres will have a initial drop off and stay a good 1 to 2 seconds a lap slower, but they don't really hit a cliff, so expect some big undercuts later on in the round. Fuel is extremely marginal. There's going to be a lot of fuel saving, but it is likely that everyone is going to have a quick splash and dash in the pits. An early favourite for the sprint is most likely Jamie. He's quick and starts near the front, but probably to expect the usual top 3 or 4 to filter their way to be in the podium positions or thereabouts. About some of the cars, the Ford is definitively the fastest on the straight here, followed by the Jag and the Dodge. The McLaren and Ferrari are somewhat struggling down the straights, but they do make up for it in the corners. The Dodge is apparently in a class of its own in Sector 3, that is from Dunlop to the start-finish line. And maybe only the Lexus is as quick as it, however the Dodge does struggle in Sector 2. And championship stipulations for this race. We are at the penultimate round of this championship, and if Brownski wins the feature, it is effectively over. He is pretty much the champion, unless, I believe it is, unless he does not finish in the sprint race and wins the feature, he is the champion. If he comes, if he finishes in second, he needs to outscore his rivals in the sprint, and if he finishes in third, he needs to win the sprint. Due to the count back rule, he is guaranteed 25 points in his next race, and only needs a 25-point gap to win the title. Steve-O is behind him on 29 points after his drop week, and Harry is 32. So let's see where H Racing Green is currently. He is currently coming up to the final corner. Let's take us for a lap around Fuji International Speedway. Let's get the chase cam up. There's the chase cam there. In fact, no, the hood cam is probably better even. So we're going to cross the line here. This, like I said, this is a 0.917 mile long straight. You're braking roughly about 150 and 100 meters into turn 1, which is TGR corner. And then this kink here for turn 2. Under the Audi Sports sign, you're then braking about 100 meters for Coca-Cola corner, although we see Harry there braking at 50. Now we're coming through the long right-hander of 100R. You don't want to be braking through this corner, you want to lift and let the car drift by itself and into turn 6, which is the hairpin. It opens out a little bit on exit, which is turn 7, and then we're coming through here down turn 8 and 9, which is 300R, and now we are into turns 10, 11 and 12, which is the Dunlop complex, the Dunlop chicane. Here we are now into 13th, which is actually the name of turn 13, is 13th. Now here we're going through turn 14 into Nets, or also known as Nuts Corner. You want to drift to the outside, come back and clip the inside for Panasonic and get the best exit you can on your way along to the start and finish line once again. And that is a lap of the Fuji International Speedway. Now, we use reverse grid qualifying, reverse championship qualifying in the sprint race is reverse championship order. However, there is a slight difference between qualifying and the race, and that is because H Racing Green is always out last for qualifying, due to being the release marshal, as we call him. The person who lets everyone know when to go, since we are doing a one-shot qualifying. We have no Lee the Reaper this week, so we are doing 2 groups of 7. So Group 1 in qualifying will be Heinehein, Wedgie, Minion, Jamie 9 Million, Ronan GT Delaney, Bloody 9 and Jut and Go. And then once they have all completed their flying laps, Micmac Mock, Hasname, Solid Ninja Snake, Ragnar Kagari, LJM Stevo, Brownski and then H Racing Green will do their laps. The grid order is the same for the sprint race with the exception of Brownski and Stevo being ahead of H Racing Green. But we are looking about we're looking at starting the sprint race in round about 3 minutes. Not the sprint race. We're looking at starting qualifying in round about 3 minutes. So I am going to have a look for the last time we raced here. I believe was the finale of season 1. And I will tell you a bit about the last time we raced here if I can find it. So the last time we raced here, H Racing Green qualified on pole in the Mitsubishi Lancer. Who else is currently on the field who was there? We had Ragnar Kagari in the Citroen GT, who qualified second. Communist Minion in the Viper qualified third. Wedgiebo in the NSX. Honda NSX back then was in 5th position. Then we had Bloody 9 in the Jut and Go also in the Jaguar qualified in 8th position. Ronan GT Delaney was 10th in the Mercedes team. I myself was in the Porsche and was 12th out of 13. By the end of the feature race, Ragnar Kagari had won that race. H Racing Green came in second and followed by Ash Racer. Communist Minion was in 4th. Wedgiebo had DNF'd and got pole for the sprint race. And let's see, Ronan GT Delaney was 9th. Bloody 9 and Jut and Go got a 6-7 for the Margarita, the Bleeding Edge Margarita team. And the sprint results, Wedgie capitalised from starting on pole and went on to win the race, followed by Ash Racer. Ragnar Kagari was in 3rd, followed by H Racing Green back then, and Communist Minion in 5th. Bloody 9 was in 6th. Jut and Go was 9th. Lee the Reaper finished 11th. I finished 13th, and Ronan GT Delaney finished 13th. We are now just moments away from qualifying for this round. Everyone making their way out, going past turn 1. As we are currently on with Ronan GT Delaney here. Once everyone makes their way past the Sector 1 time split just before Coca-Cola Corner, it means we are then good to start. Now we will be watching out for the fight for the podium position, because that has massive championship implications in this race. Should Brownski finish any lower than first, he does not win the championship at this round, and as he needs a 25-point gap, currently has a 29-point gap, and if anyone finishes ahead of him, that gap will obviously shrink. And the more positions he loses, the larger that gap. So we're going to be keeping an eye mostly on Steve Obrowski and H Racing Green. Yeah, we see the Ronin GT Delaney there. We've also got LJM Stevo and the JC Racing, JC Speed Racer team. Ronin GT Delaney representing Bad Boy Sim Racing. Brownski from the Really Bad team. We've got Solid Ninja Snake in the Asahi Kasai Ace Motorsport team. Bloody 9 lead driver for the Bleeding Edge Margarita team. Jamie 9 Million once again for JC Speed Racer. Ragnar Kagari racing on his own in a Porsche livery this in a Monster Energy livery this time, which is looking very green. I rate it 9 out of 10. Needs more pink, but he is in his own team entitled SNS Racing for Christmas. And then we've got Jutton Go for the then we have Jutton Go for the Bleeding Edge Margarita team. Hasnain, the lead driver for the Asahi Kasai Ace Motorsport team. Mick McMock, the other driver in the Really Bad team. We've got Heinlein in the DUB Black Dragon, driving the Aston Martins. And after that we have his teammate Communist Minion there, parked up at the side there. The Umbro Invicta Racing team, which was at the start of the season H Racing Green and Ash Racer. However, Ash Racer is no longer racing in this league, so therefore H Racing Green is a solo entry now. And then we have the Toyota of the Gaming Ken Racing team, piloted by Wejibo. As we also see the ribbons on the GT3 cars. There we go, qualifying is just about to start. So when qualifying starts, we will jump straight on with Heinlein, who is the first driver out, who is there. There we go. The Aston Martin should be quite quick along this straight. The Aston Martin has quite a bit of power. Wegible followed out by Communist Minion. He was then followed out by Jamie 9 Million. We always see Wegible turbo in the GT3 Supra there. As Heinlein comes down to the Dunlop chicane, making his way through there, trying not to get on the grass there. As he makes his way up to Panasonic, you want to start out wide, bring it into the apex and then drift back out wide again. It's a very late apex you're looking at coming around here. Trying to get as much speed as you can for the straight as Heinlein crosses the line and starts his flying lap. Nope. Down into the TDR corner. This track is owned by Toyota, I should mention, just like Suzuka is owned by Honda. So expect to see a fair amount of Toyota branding around here. Formerly owned by Mitsubishi. As we come through the hairpin down on the 300R. And back into the Dunlop chicane once again. Just coming up the hill. Next corner. And back round Panasonic. Nice wide entry. Tight on the apex. Back on the power. And blasting down that front straight right there. Crosses the line. In a moment. There we go. 140.8. As now we're on with Wedgiebo there, who is coming down straight, try to get everything he can out of it, and he goes 139.8. Next up is Communist Minion, he goes 139.7. Now we're on with Jamie 9 million. 139.5. Ronan GT Delaney and the McLaren go 141.6. Next up we have Bloody Nine and the Ferrari coming down straight. Teammate in the view at the back there. 140.1. There we go, Jungle, who's crossing the line, or 140.0. Next up, Mac Mock. Let's see if we can find Mac. Here we go, we've now got Nick. Who will be followed out of the pits by Hasnain. He will also be followed out by his teammate Solid Ninja Snake. And then Ragnar Kagari. as we see Mick coming through the hairpin just now. LJM Steve gets released from the pits as we are coming through 300R down to the Dunlop chicane, followed by Brownski, and then once Brownski leaves the pits, H Racing Green himself will leave the pits. So as it stands currently, Jamie 9 million has a provisional pole. Followed by Communist Minion. As we see Mick coming along the main straight here. See what kind of time he can put in. Oh, this is the end of his outlap, isn't it? Yeah, this is the start of his flying lap now. But yeah, as it currently stands, Jamie 9 million, Communist Minion and Wedgeville are your top three. Jamie 9 million provisional pole with a 1:39.5. As we see Mick coming through Coca-Cola corner into 100R. Drifting out wide, coming back into the corner, drifting out wide again. Braking, coming down for the hairpin. And on to 300R. Down into the Dunlop chicane. Cutting that corner a little bit there. Managing to not get a penalty as he comes to 13th. And into Nuts corner. Giving the bollard there a wee shake as he comes through Panasonic. Makes his way to the start finish straight. Hasnane making his way up towards Panasonic corner just now. As he crosses line 1:39.5, good enough for second provisionally, as we're now on with Hasnane. Making his way to the line, Ford fastest on the straight, goes pole 1:39.5. Now we check out his teammate Solid Ninja Snake. He has the same helmet as Mick McMock, goes pole by 6,000th of a second with 1:39.5. Next up we have Ragnar Kagari making his way to the line. Porsche GT3, a very solid car, 1:39.2 for Ragnar Kagari, as we now see Steve-O making his way to the line, 1:39.3 puts him in second position. Next up we have a Brownski on the main straight just now in the Viper, one of the strongest cars for this round, goes pole 1:38.8. I believe that's the first person in the 38s, as we now see H Racing Green in the Lexus RCF making his way to the start finish straight, 1:38.7, takes pole by 1/10 of a second. And we have 5 seconds remaining of qualifying. And now we've got to wait 3 minutes and 20. Even though everyone's set a time. Congratulations to H Racing Green on the most pole positions out of anyone in AOR GT Sport qualifying. Beating his former teammate from the start of this season. there we go, and he's going to go do some donuts for a couple of minutes. Someone else following him out there. Looks like Jamie 9 million has followed him out for some donuts as well. Many people out just to do some donuts. One shot qualifying means they're not allowed to go and set any more times. They've got to stay around turn 1, do some donuts. And why not? See Jamie there as well as Communist Minion. Who else went out? Bloody 9 going for it. As well as Heinehine. I mean, the night as well is better than sitting around for 3 minutes. There in the ground trap. Firing up, seemingly not giving it all the welly for donuts there. Jamie there just giving it some donuts there. And they have Solid and just joining them in the board. There we go. Here we go for the race. H Racing Green on pole, Brownski in second, followed by Ragnar Kagari and Steve-O, then Solid and Hasnain on the road together. Teammates there, Jamie and Mick once again battling away. Then you also have further down, you've got Communist Minion, Wedgiebo, Juttengo and Bloody 9, followed by Heinehine and Ronan GT Delaney. Let's get a shot from the middle of the pack. And it's lights out, and we are off for 24 laps here at Fuji International Speedway. We are expecting pit stops to be around lap 10 or between 10 and 13. H Racing Green holding first into TGR corner. Brownski trying to go around the outside. We've got Wedgiebo there with a penalty already. Has also seemingly already served it, as H Racing Green still holds the lead into Coca-Cola corner. Let's see, something's happened to Ragnar Kagari. He is dropped behind LGM Steve-O. Solid Ninja Snake has made his way past Jamie 9 million. Mick Maclock keeping in there as well. Let's keep an eye on Brownski, keep an eye on the gap between Brownski and Harry in front and Steve-O behind. Remember, if Brownski wins this, he is effectively the champion. We'll also be keeping an eye on battles going on in the midfield as well, as we see Mick Blackmoth there trying to put pressure on Ragnar Kagari in the background, and we see just everyone close together, trying to keep close enough to be in the slipstream for the main straight, but not so close that they're getting held behind by Dirty Air through the corners. This is a track where slipstream is definitely your friend along this long straight. Brownski definitely having the advantage on H Racing Green here. with the power of the Porsche, the Dodge compared to the Lexus. However, Gage Racing Green manages to get a good enough exit that Brownski could not get into the slipstream. Slipstream here is 0.8 of a second. Gage Racing Green more than 0.8 of a second ahead. Brownski could not get that slipstream, but also, more importantly, did not give any slipstream to Steve-O, as Mick McMock has made his way past Ragnar Kagari on the straights and is looking to pressure LGM Steve-O. Instead of battling away with Jamie this time, he is battling with Ragnar and Steve-O. He's battling with his teammate's rival for this championship. As we make our way down to Dunlop, now we're on with Mick McMock, looking at him pressuring Steve-O. As we are coming around to cross the line and start lap 3, as we're coming to the Nuts corner, on our way up to Panasonic. Mick McMock should surely make the overtake on this straight in the slipstream, close that gap down. Then he's going to pull out. Oh, he dummied it. Mick McMock up into third position, but unfortunately does have the outside line. Steve-O tucks in behind. Breaks a bit early as to not punt Mick off the track through TGR, and now Mick closing the gap to his teammate Brownski, but that is unfortunate for Brownski because it does mean that Mick is giving Steve-O a tow along up to his championship rival. We also see Ragnar Kagari there, just keeping close, ready to capitalise on any mistakes that anyone else makes. As we come through Dunlop, the Dunlop chicane, let's have a look back down the field for a quick moment. We have LGM Steve-O in 4th and Ragnar Kagari in 5th, Hasney in 6th, just a wee bit behind, battling away with Jamie 9 million, and right behind Jamie 9 million is Solid, Ninja Snake and Communist Minion. Jamie again a wee bit too much on the curb on the exit of Nuts corner, on his way up to Panasonic. Behind them is Communist Minion, who is looking to make a pass on Solid Ninja Snake along this straight. See if he can make it. 0.2 of a second. Might pull out and go for the dive here. We'll stay behind, break a wee bit earlier and live to fight another day. Right behind them is Bloody Nine, and it appears that Heineheim has just gone right off, which has allowed Jutko and Wedgebo to get past. Is at the back. However, let's jump back up towards the front, where Brownski has managed to open up a bit of a gap to his teammate Mick McMock there, and LGM Steve-O is still keeping him behind. Ragnar Kagari falling back a little bit, but still keeping himself close enough to capitalise from any mistakes. We're back onto the main straight once again. Mick McMock 3.7 seconds behind H Racing Green. Has Brownski got himself into slipstream range? No, he hasn't. but the superior power of the Dodge is bringing them back into contention along this main straight here. Once again, like I said, remember, just under a mile, 0.917 miles of straight here. And then that's not including the run down to Coca-Cola Corner, out the exit of TGR. Brownski currently holding the fastest lap of 1:39.4. As you see Mount Fuji in the background there. Let's check in on Ragnar Kagari. Let's see, he is 0.6 seconds behind Stevo, and he is keeping gap and growing that gap to Jamie, who is holding up Hasney and Solid Ninja Snake. Communist Minion falling once again behind the Solid Ninja Snake, and Bloody right behind them. This is a close battle for the midfield positions. As we make our way up to 13th and into Nuts. Trying to avoid getting too much on the curbing there, that will unbalance the car. As we make our way through Panasonic, see the front end of Bloody Nine's Ferrari just not wanting to grip as much. As we now have this train coming right down the main straight. Communist Minion now close enough to look to make an attack. You can see him moving a wee bit from side to side, thinking about it. Decides against it though. Hasnain, rare mistake from Hasnain, has let Solid Ninja Snake past and blocked off Communist Minion's momentum. As they come down through Coca-Cola into 100R, and we also see Brownski now ahead, as is Mick. What has happened to H Racing Green? I think the tyres have just absolutely fallen off of H Racing Green's car, as he is now quite a few seconds behind LGM Stevo, who's looking to make the move round the outside of the Dunlop chicane. Now has the inside line. Wheel arches banging. Wheel to wheel action there from Stevo and Green, but Green manages to hold as they come through nets and up into Panasonic. As we make our way along the main straight here, H Racing Green has won the driver's title here at AOR 3 times. Brownski is a one-time champion. We've got Hasman on the field, who is a former champion back in the days of Super GT. We've got Ragnar Kagari, 4-time champion. Any team championships strewn across the racers here, and also in other categories and other leagues, as not everyone races solely AOR GT Sport. Some of them race for other leagues and race in Formula 1 and Assetto Corsa and Project Cars. However, we are more interested in Gran Turismo here at AOR GT Sport. As we've got a nice group of cars there. H Racing Green, Stevo, Mick McMock, Ragnar Kagari, all nice and close together as we come through 13th. We are on lap 7 of 24. Remember, pit stops should be round about lap 10 to 13. That is the projected pit stop window for this race. Those who can manage their tyres a bit better can pit a wee bit later, and fuel should last you to lap 18 before you need to refuel, so everyone will refill round about then to make it to the end. As we see H Racing Green in the slipstream of McMahon. Going out, trying to go side by side with the Dodge. Goes side by side. Has the inside line for TGR. Has to brake a little bit earlier. But he makes it stick. Does he? Does he make it stick? McMahon gets the switch back. The other side to side heading into Coca-Cola corner. H Racing Green once again gets the lead, but McMahon right there. Mick right behind, coming through 100R into hairpin. As we now come through 300R down to the Dunlop chicane. McMahon just staying behind, but this has allowed Brownski to get a 4.2 second lead all that battling. It's given Brownski a clear gap. As Racing Green is still leading this train, McMahon is falling a little bit behind H Racing Green. However, with the superior power on the straights, should make that gap back up. So let's have a quick look further down the grid. We have LGM Steve-O in 4th, Ragnar Kagari in 5th, Jamie 9 million in 6th, Solid Ninja Snake and Hasnain in 7th and 8th. We have Communist Minion in 9th, Bloody 9 in 10th, and we've still got this battle in the midfield raging on. Jamie Hasnain, Solid, Mega, Bloody 9 not too far behind, ready to capitalise on anyone who makes a mistake in this battle. We've got Jungo just behind, Wedgiebo fighting away with Hein and Ronan GT Delaney trying to make the gap back up to Hein and is managing to do so. Now we go back to the front, towards the front of the grid. Brownski in 1st, H Racing Green in 2nd, McMahon in 3rd, and LGM Steve-O in 4th. LGM has Ragnar Kagari not too far behind. Let's jump on Steve-O. Let's jump on the hood cam because we can not only look forward at any moves that he might try and make on McMahon, who does get a little bit sideways coming out of nets and into Panasonic. We can also look behind and see what Ragnar Kagari is doing. As Steve-O is in slipstream range, but just didn't quite get the exit to catch up on McMahon. However, Ragnar Kagari right there, looking to close up on LGM Steve-O. Doesn't do it, stays in behind, takes a slightly wider line, maybe looking for the cutback if he can get the exit. Doesn't get that exit though. Sets a PB in sector 1. As we are coming now through 100R. And down into Dunlop, everyone closely packed together. We seem to have Brownski out the front, then a small pack from 2nd down to 5th, and then from 6th down to 10th, and then everyone else just spread out a wee bit further back and further back. And we're once again on with Ragnar Kagari here. Let's look at the battle for 6th position. Hasnnan has indeed got past Jamie 9 million. Solid Ninja Snake looking to make the pass as well. Side by side. Solid Ninja Snake edges ahead, coming into the TGR corner. Communist Minion is there looking for a gap. A wee bit of contact between Solid Ninja Snake and Jamie gave Communist Minion a chance to get in that gap there. Brownski still holds the fastest lap of a 1:39.4, but Solid Ninja Snake just set up purple sector 1. He's the fastest person through sector 1 right now. And that contact from Solid Ninja Snake has let Communist Minion get past Jamie 9 million and has let Bloody 9 get his nose in there as well. Looking to make a pass as Communist Minion does run a bit wide there. But let's jump on with Bloody 9 as we come to Dunlop. Looking to make the pass on Jamie, who's looking to make a pass on Communist Minion. Now we're on with Jamie. So you've got Bloody 9 behind, Communist Minion just ahead. Going down the inside the next corner. Looking to make the pass. Just ahead. But now Mega has the inside for Panasonic. But it does mean Jamie can get the better run out. Decides to go to the left. With Bloody 9 being there, we see people pitting in now. Communist Minion, Solid Ninja Snake, Steve-O, Green, Ragnar Kagari, Bloody 9. Brownski's stayed out, it would seem, as has Mick. So these guys going one more lap. Most people now should have pitted or will be getting ready to pit within the next lap or two. As we see Brownski coming through there, let's have a look at Steve-O. Steve-O is out in a train with Heineken, Ragnar Kagari, H-Racing Green. Steve-O has seeming... he didn't jump. Took Green on track earlier. But Heineken right there in 6th now, as he did not pit. So we'll be under pressure from these guys on the fresher tyres. However, does not need to move out of the way, as he is currently racing for position, which is something that Brownski will be glad of, that he is not moving out of the way under blue flags. As himself and Mick have just pitted, as has Hasnain. H-Racing Green just losing the back end of the car just a little bit there. As Juttengo also pits, Heineken coming into the pits now. His teammate Jamie also in the pits, let's see. Brownski coming out of the pit lane, still in first. Brownski has managed to keep the lead on everyone else, and his teammate comes out just behind Ragnar Kagari. H-Racing Green, LLGM, Steve-O and Ragnar Kagari have all made the undercut work on Matt Mock. Solid Ninja Snake and Bloody 9 ahead of Hasnain. As we see these three, only one who's not won a championship in the top 4 as it currently stands is LGM Steve-O. He has always been close. He's always been in the top, I think he's usually in the top 3 when he competes. And he's never too far off. can get himself a championship crown in the near future. There's still a possibility in this championship, but he must overtake Brownski, who is 6.3 seconds ahead at the moment. So it is looking unlikely with 10 laps to go. We're at lap 14 out of 24 as H Racing Green stays ahead. They were side by side. Brownski still holding fastest lap, 1:39.4. So let's have a look further back. We see Solid Ninja Snake battling away with Bloody Nine there, and we see Jamie battling away there with Hasney. Jutton not too far behind either. So we've got one Ace Motorsport car being pressured and one trying to put on the pressure. Let's see what Solid Ninja Snake can do. We'll hold off Bloody Nine. Bloody Nine making his way through 13th, right behind Solid Ninja Snake, right under his rear wing. As they make their way through Panasonic onto the main straight, can the Ferrari power make it past the Ford? The Ford is theoretically faster in the straight line, but the Ferrari is more aerodynamic, and it does indeed. But Solid Ninja Snake now in the slipstream, going to keep himself close. Bloody Nine running wide gives Solid Ninja Snake the opportunity to make the position back up, but the Ferrari just doesn't let him. Solid Ninja Snake tucking himself in under that rear wing as we come through Coca-Cola corner into 100R. As we see this scrap ahead coming closer and closer to Bloody Nine and Solid Ninja Snake. They are catching up to Green, Stevo and Ragnar and Mick. As they come through the hairpin in 300R down into Dunlop. And we see in the background there Hasney has made it past Stevo. Not Stevo, Jamie. Let's have a look back on the battle for the rest of the podium positions. H Racing Green has pulled out a bit of a gap to LGM Stevo. Stevo running a wee bit wide on the exit of Panasonic. That will allow Ragnar Kagari to tuck into the slipstream and get a better exit. As we're on with Ragnar Kagari here now, who is 1.8 seconds ahead of Mick McMock, only 0.3 of a second behind Stevo. As we come through the TGR corner and make the sprint down to Coca-Cola. Through 100R down to the hairpin, and Gary keeping himself in the mirrors of LGM Stevo. Not letting Stevo forget that he is there. Let's head back towards the battle between Bloody and Solid. Bloody Nine now making the gap to Solid and Snake as they make their way down to the Dunlop chicane. As they make their way through the chicane, the nimbleness of the Ferrari showing itself there compared to the Ford. definitely struggling in the corners compared to the Ferrari. And we come through Panasonic on through the main straight to start lap 17 of 24. With 7 laps remaining. So let's have a look through the grid. Heading first is Brownski, followed by H Racing Green, then Ragnar Kagari, who is battling away with LJM Stevo. LJM Stevo, who really wants to have a podium position here. He was qualified well this round. Last round he started quite a way down the back and had to make a recovery drive, which has been one of the reasons LJM Stevo has not won a championship yet, is it needs to get his qualifying under control. Behind Stevo is Mick Mac Mock, followed by Bloody Nine and Solid Ninja Snake, who is followed by Hasnain and Jamie 9 Million, who has Jut and Go right on his tail there. As Jamie is trying to pressure Hasnain coming up into Panasonic corner, and Jut and Go staying as close as physically possible there. Let's jump on with Jamie for a second before we continue on down the rest of the standings. As you see, the Ragnar has indeed made it past Stevo on the straight. And H Racing Green has grabbed the fastest lap of a 1:39.256 as Jamie side by side with Hasnain makes his way past. Now looking to catch up on Solid Ninja Snake. But continuing down the rest of the grid, we have Communist Minion in 11th, Wedgie Bowl in 12th. We've got Heineheim in 13th, and Ronan GT Delaney, there we go, just coming through the PR corner in McLaren. And 4th, let's have a look at Ragnar Gagarin and LGM Stevo as they come through 13th. Into nets, Mick Mac Mock in the background there, closes that gap down as we come through Panasonic corner and onto the main straight. See there's Fuji in the background there, iconic sight at this track. As they come down the main straight, LGM Stevo trying to close that gap down into the slipstream. Not close the gap enough for any sort of move. And the guy keeping tight to the apex there. LJM Stevo getting it a wee bit wrong balance with it. Now we're looking at this fight here. Bloody Nine has started disappearing off into the distance as far as Solid Ninja Snake is concerned, but is maintaining that gap of just over 2 seconds to Jamie behind. I was hoping to come back to the Bloody Nine Solid Ninja Snake battle and see more classic Ford versus Ferrari, just like Le Mans back in the day. However, instead of the 250 and the Ford GT, I believe it was, it's the 458 Italia versus the Mustang. Jut and go, trying to close that gap down on Jamie and the Jaguar. As they make their way up through Panasonic. Jamie losing the back end a bit there. Oh, something's happened to H Racing Green there. 4 laps to go. As Brownski now 10 seconds to anyone is in a world of his own. H Racing Green still holding the fastest lap of a 1:39.2. Brownski held the fastest lap before that, 1:39.4. That now puts Ragnar Kagari up into second position and LGM Stevo into third. That is your podium as it currently stands, but Mick McMock right there does not want to let that happen. As they on their way up to Panasonic corner. LGM Stevo trying to close that gap down, get into the slipstream. Gary's running a wee bit wider than Ragnar Kagari, but might let them get a bit of a better launch carrying more speed through the corner. And they make their way down the long front straight. H Racing Green has rejoined. And his trademark not ideal seems very appropriate at this juncture. As we come through Coca-Cola corner, Ragnar Kagari still leading LJM Stevo and Mick McMock in the battle for second. As we make our way down to the hairpin, and that is Ragnar Kagari running very light. I'm surprised they did not receive a penalty. Have they received a penalty? They have not received a penalty. As we are on lap 21 of 24, Brownski 11.59 seconds ahead of anyone else. With Ragnar Kagari, LGM Stevo and Mick McMock battling for the podium. As Ragnar Kagari drifts out of nets and into Panasonic. He's back on power, gets the traction back. Makes his way down the front straight towards TGR corner onto lap 22. There are 3 laps remaining. As Stevo was thinking about there making a move into TGR, but probably realised if he attacks Ragnar, he has no defence against Mick, so thought better to just keep it where it is just now. And was starting to look like he was trying to attack Ragnar, coming through 100R into the hairpin. Practically pushing Ragnar Kagari through some of these corners. Ragnar Kagari getting a wee bit wobbly on exit there. LGM Stevo tucked up right behind. Might try for a move into Dunlop. No, not alongside enough. But we'll be looking to maintain this gap for the straight. And come through next is side by side with Ragnar Kagari. Has given Mick McMock nowhere to go. Ragnar Kagari had the inside for Panasonic. Getting a bit of a slide on there though, which will give Stevo the chance as he had the traction, and he managed to get the power down a bit earlier. Stevo makes the pass, side by side. Ragnar Gary tucking in, LGM moving to break the hook. Ragnar Gary goes back to the racing line, now alongside McMahon. And McMahon now in third, sitting still side by side. Ragnar Gary has the inside for Coca-Cola though. And Ragnar Gary makes it work. McMahon just looking to see where he can get past Ragnar Gary once again. This has allowed Steve to build a wee bit of a gap. As we come through the hairpin and on to 300R. Making our way down to Dunlop. McMahon too far behind to make anything work. As we see some other battles coming down. Got a Ford versus Ferrari moment here. Solomon Snake versus Jut and Go. So it's Hasname versus Jut and Go. With Jamie just ahead. As we come through the next corner, keeping an eye on third position, see if Nick takes it back here on the straight. Let's see what Django can do on this straight right behind Hasname. In the slipstream. Goes up, let's see. Move from side to side, having a look. We're on the final lap. Jungle was having a look from side to side there, see where he could go for it, but did decide against it. Looking like he's carried more speed through Coca-Cola there. But this is the bit where this is the section of the track where the Ferrari does outshine the Ford. Ford is struggling to go through corners here. As we make a short sprint down to the Dunlop chicane. Make our way through. See Brownski just about to cross the line. And Brownski has won the race. Let's see what Jungle can do. Jungle has a little bit of a loss of control there, as has been happening. Let's see if they can do it just coming up to the finish line. To go for a move across the line. As LGM Steve will take second, Ragnar Gary third. See Jamie there, sixth position, Hasname. Then Jut and Go, Solid Ninja Snake there in ninth. We've got Communist Minion finishing in 10th position, followed by Wedgiebo. After Wedgiebo, it is Heineken and Ronan GT Delaney. So just to confirm, Brownski is your winner, followed by LGM Stevo and Ragnar Kagari. Then McMahon. And following McMahon is Bloody Nine, then Jamie, then Hasnane and Jut and Go. And there is Baronski. So the drivers will have a short break before the sprint race. Sprint race is half distance. With the grid being reverse championship order as of the end of round 6. With a softer compound of tyre. So let's see what happens. So let's we'll go into driver's chat and see how they're all doing. Hello. Hello, drivers.
Hello.
So how are you doing? Was that what happened to you, Green? Was that just a disconnect?
Well, it was I ruined my own race in the first place anyway, and then yeah, it was like it wasn't even a disconnect because I didn't leave the party. It was it's a like game error basically.
That was some battling around you as well there. With Wobby and Mick and Steve-O and just, that was a good watch. And then you had some Ford versus Ferrari going on with Bloody and Solid and Jutton going Hasnain.
I'm glad I never have to race that Viper again. I don't know what. It's like it's my mistake, and I can't sort of do anything about disconnection. But it's just like I make one mistake, and that ruins the entire race. Like driving like flat out on the edge constantly.
That's what
this race.
That's what racing's about, though, isn't it? Driving flat out on the edge.
Well, it is, but you only have to do it in a few cars. This is one of them. I'd say that Ferrari and that McLaren are also cars you're pretty much having to drive flat out on the edge all the time. And the Toyota. Well, it's on the edge. Maybe you're not flat out, but like it's
right. Yeah, it's just the nature of the Ferrari. If you try to drive it on the edge, it bites you hard.
Yeah.
You gotta respect it. You gotta treat it gently.
Oh no, that Toyota, you've got to absolutely ring it, man.
Oh, I'm gonna unmute everyone for the sprint race. Okay. Oh, dear me. I don't understand. It's like, it's quicker than me. Like, it's quicker than me in that Viper, through the corners. And it's faster down the straights. And it was better on its fuel. I was like, what am I fucking doing here? It's like, pick one. It's like, I don't mind if it's faster in the corners, if it's slower down the straights, or vice versa. But it's both.
Yeah. On top of that, it's American. That shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, that shouldn't make any sense, yeah.
But at the same time, until you had a spin, you were keeping the
Oh,
lead.
I
though.
should have won. Yeah, if I hadn't made that mistake, I wouldn't have made the second mistake, and then if I hadn't gone off at turn 3, I wouldn't have got the penalty trying to catch up the next lap round or whatever it was 2 laps later, and then I wouldn't have tried the stupid undercut which cost me time. And although maybe parallel universe and all that without the mistake as well, I might not have disconnected. Who knows? But, yeah,
Right.
It's fine. It's ironically, it actually means I gain ground in the championship because this makes my drop round, which means I'd lose less points to Brownski because my 7 are now better, I think. By the way, it's 4 seconds, at least in this car, 4 seconds faster not to stop in this race, just to let you know. It will feel horrible at the end of the race, but it's definitely quicker. I would not advise. I certainly can. I know what you bloody jump. Yeah, perfect.
Right, well, I'm gonna jump out, let you race. I will go back to commentary duties, and I will see you after the race. Good luck, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Wedgie, remember season 1 here. I I believe in you, Wedgie. I believe in you. So here we are. We are getting ready for the sprint race, half distance, and championship stipulations here. If Steve-O wins the sprint race, all Brownski needs is P5 for the title. However, knowing everyone on this grid, they will be going as hard as they can to win this race. So we will see what happens. Yeah, it's definitely looking at like a spicy battle here coming up. Let's have a quick look at the grid once more. So the grid will be Heinlein in first position, Wedgie in second, followed by Mega and then Jamie. Delaney in fifth, Bloody in sixth, Juttengo in 7th, Mick in 8th, Hasnain in 9th, Solid and Ninja Snake in 10th position, followed by Ragnar Kagari, H Racing Green, then Steve-O, then Brownski. So Brownski just needs to either outscore Steve-O and H Racing Green, or if Steve-O wins this race, come in 5th position. So we'll be ready to see what happens when that happens, when we get round to it. everyone is getting out of the pits past Sector 1. And there we go. So we've gone from the mediums to the softs, or the hards to softs. Half distance, rolling start. Everyone starts with 60% of the fuel tank filled. 60 litres of fuel instead of 100. Now you see the grid lined up. Everyone on the main stream. So let's see what happens as we start this race. Heinlein leading off into turn 1, and we are go. Heinlein pulling off to the side, trying to break the toe straight off the bat, but he is far enough ahead that there is no toe for anyone behind. However, some people in faster cars have managed to get a bit of toe. Communist Minion and Wedgeable straight into turn 1 side by side. Communist Minion gets that position straight off the bat. Some people here will be making a one stop, some people will be making a no stop, depending on if their cars can save the fuel and keep the tyres good for the 12 laps. These are a softer tyre, so they will have more grip to begin with, but their tyres will fade quicker than the mediums did. So we will see how that goes. But at the moment, Heinlein holding his lead, followed by Communist Minion. Wedgeable looking to make a move down the inside into the Dunlop chicane, gets second position back off of Communist Minion. As we see further back, there's Jamie 9 million and Ronan GT Delaney in 4th and 5th, Jungle in 6th, Mick Mock has name H Racing Green, and where has Bloody 9 wound up? How is Bloody 9 wound up at the back? I am not sure. I cannot bring up the replay, so we will not know. Probably turn 1 contact. As we're now on the hazard, make a move on Mick Mock, the Ford faster than anything down the straight and the end of the straight. However, Mick does have the toe of the McLaren and Ferrari ahead. Has the 2 American cars and making contact there, coming through TTR, but they're now side by side coming into Coca-Cola car. Hasnane makes the move, and now Mick Mock has the other Ferrari just behind everyone, giving it a quick blip on the brakes, coming into 100R. As Communist now down into 6th position, presumably serving a penalty, which has moved everyone up a position. Everyone that was ahead of Mick and behind Wedgie up a position, meaning Jamie is now on the podium alongside Heinlein and Wedgie as we are on lap 2, coming up to next corner. And through to Panasonic, as we see there Hasnane pressuring Ronan GT Delaney and Big Train right behind them all. Hasnane and Solid having the biggest advantage on this straight against the other cars. Dodge also pretty powerful down this straight. Hasnane gets past, now we see Communist Minion making the move down the inside on Ronan GT Delaney. Communist Minion getting past. Lloyd, does he hold it? Yes, he does indeed. Now see the other cars there. Let's have a look where Stevo and the rest are. Stevo is currently in 10th position. and Brownski down in 13th. H Racing Green, Ragnar, Gary Brownski and Bloody Nine currently on 0 points again at the end of this race, as 10th and higher all get points at the end of this race. As we see Steve-O and H Racing Green battling for 10th position. H Racing Green currently holding it as he was on the inside, and will be on the inside for the entrance into Dunlop, but Steve-O will have the inside line on the middle of the chicane, and H Racing Green has the inside here from 13th and holds it coming into nets on their way up. On their way up to Panasonic. That was one of the Fords. Is coming slightly off track, solid, and Snake trying to make a move on one Delaney, Heineken, Wedgeville and James still in first, second and third. As Solid and Snake makes his way past Delaney, and we see Mick McNaught going down the trigger around the outside for TGR. But Delaney more focused on trying to get the cut back on Solid Ninja Snake. Has let Mick McNaught through the door, but does have the inside for Coca-Cola corner. But Mick McNaught makes the move, stick through Coca-Cola corner. Behind Jamie and Wedgie still up front. Wedgie now battling with Hasney now getting past, and Jump as let Jump go in as well. As we see the Margarita car looking for a move, but there we go. Wedgie making a move on Hasney into Dunlop, getting third position back. Now looking at Jamie. Can he make a move on Jamie? No, he goes a bit deep in 13th, which allows Hasney back through into the next corner. Side by side, but Wedgie gets the position back, but Hasney powers through. Wedgie now passed by Communist Minion and he's battling away with Django. Good drive here from Wedgeville battling away with Hasney, third position. Well, Wedgeville make a move into the TGR corner. You see Hasney pulling out, and as did Wedgeville. Solid Ninja Snake and Jump goes side by side through TGR there. Django holding the position into Coca-Cola. Django no longer focusing on battling with Wedgeville, more focusing on keeping Solid Ninja Snake behind. As we see the rest of the field coming through 100R also, down at the hairpin. Django's focus now once again shifting away from Solid Ninja Snake back on Wedgeville. As Heineken and Jamie still in first and second, Hasney in third, Mega in fourth. Heineken now falling back behind Jamie and will presumably fall behind Hasney coming through 13th, and is now ahead of his teammate, but has made a move once again on Hasney by taking a tighter line through nets and into Panasonic. Hasney taking the wider line, but has the advantage of power on the exit. He does keep Communist Minion behind for now. Is closing the gap on Heineken. As Communist Minion pits, as does can't see who else decided to pit there. But Hasney has pulled ahead of Heineken for second position. H Racing Green ahead, behind LJM Steve-O. Let's see, Brownski in 10th. Brownski needs 5th position if Steve-O manages to make his way to the front of the grid and win this race. one in a train behind the Toyota of the Gaming King Toyota of Wedgie Bo there. Jungle and Mick Blacklock battling it out there for 6th position. Sorry, for 5th position. Wedgie Bo still up there in 4th position. You see everyone there just bunching right up behind the Toyota of Wedgie Bo. You've got Mick Blacklock, Jungle, Ryan Gary, Kate Racing Green, LGM Steve-O, Bounski, all right there. As we're on lap 6, we're about to start lap 7. As Django falls now behind Ryan, Gary and Brownski. And LGM Steve-O. And see Mick Blacklock over to make pass on Wedgie Bo decides this time fit as does Heinlein. Some people will be going for a one stop, some people will go for a no stop, depending on how their tyres and fuel hold up, how much they can save. As now see Mick Blacklock in 2nd, behind LGM Steve-O, Brownski down in 5th. With H Racing Green in 2nd, Jungle in 7th. Jamie still leading this race. Bloody Nine has been his way back up to 8th position. Rowan GT Delaney in 9th. Solid Ninja Snake, Communist Minion, Hasnane, 10th, 11th, 12th. Wedgie Bo and Heinlein in 13th, 14th. Let's have a look at H Racing Green here. Looking to make a move on Mick Blacklock to reduce the deficit to Brownski as much as possible. Mick Blacklock and Brownski right there. Kind of feel like Mick wants to find a way past Brown there. Racing Green has made his way past Mick Blacklock, but on the straight the Dodge does have a bit of an advantage over the Lexus. However, being in the slipstream might negate that as Brownski and Ragnar Gary are side by side. Brownski just gets ahead of Ragnar Gary in the Porsche. As we make our way down to TGR corner, Racing Green holds 5th. And Brownski is up to 3rd, LGM Steve-O and Jamie in. It's a 1-2 for GT3 Racing. As it currently stands, we are on lap 8 of 12. So we have Jamie L and then Steve-O, and then behind them we have Brown and Ragnar. Then H Racing Green and Mick, Bloody Nine and Jungle, all in the top 8. Behind them is Solid and then Minion and Hasnane, followed by Wedgie Bo, Heinlein and Ronan GT Delaney. As we're back on with Steve-O, who has a 1.7 second gap to his teammate behind. Let's jump back into the middle of this battle. Brownski, Steve-O, Ragnar, Garrett and H Racing Green. Mick Blacklock falling behind just a little bit, but enough that he can capitalise should anything go wrong for the guys racing ahead. As Jamie tried to let his teammate pass, but has also let him open the door for Brownski. Who's now moved to 1-3 with Steve-O and Jamie, but Brownski makes the overtake. Dodge out dragging the Jaguar down this 0.917 mile straight. One of the longest straights in real world motorsport. As they come down to Coca-Cola Corner, Jamie 9 million is now in 3rd position. As being pressured by H Racing Green. number 68 car. As Jamie gets passed on both sides by H Racing Green and Ragnar Gary. Probably feeling a lot like Ricardo was onto the at Spa. But Jamie making the move on, tried to make a move on Ragnar Gary, tried to defend that position. The podium now, as it currently stands here on lap 9 of 12, is Brownski, Stevo and H Racing Group, who are then followed by Ragnar Gary, Jamie 9 million, Mick Macmuck, and then the two leading edge Margarita cars. The number 9 of Bloody 9 followed by the number 77 of Just and Go. In 9th and 10th we have the two Sahi Kasai cars, followed by Communist Minion, then Oechibo, who is battling away with Heinehein, and Ronan GT Delaney is 12 seconds off of that battle. Let's jump back up towards the front as we see H Racing Green go down the inside of TGR and make the move on LGM Stevo. As we now come down to Coca-Cola Corner, we have the remainder of this lap plus 2 to go. Anything can happen in that time. As we come through the hairpin onto 300R, Stevo running just a little bit wider than H Racing Green. And then you see Ragnar Gary in the background there, just a second behind, followed by Jamie 9 million and Mick Macmock. As we come through the Dunlop chicane, on our way back up towards 13. Next, at the apex, we'll drift wide out of next, and then wide entry. Tighten it up through Panasonic, try and get the power down as early as you can, capitalise on this long back straight. H Racing 1.3 seconds ahead. These guys have no stops this race, so their tyres are going to be absolutely dead. But we have 2 laps remaining, laps 11 and 12. As it currently stands, we have Brownski, H Racing Green, LGM, Stevo, then Ragnar Gary, Jamie, then Mick, then Bloody, then Jump Go, followed by Hasnane, Solid, Mega, Wedgie, Heine, and then Delaney. Let's have a look at Bloody 9, having a pop at Mick Macmock, makes the move into the hairpin. Mick looks for the cutback though. Mick gets the cutback, but they are now side by side on the run down to Dunlop. The other Margarita car there, Object and Go, right behind, ready to make a move as well. As Bloody 9 gets the move done through the chicane. There's a wee bit of contact there from Mick. Which has slowed Mick down a little bit. Made him even more vulnerable to an attack from Jump and Go. As we are on the main straight now, Mick Macmock has, there we go, you see there, Mick Macmock has Jump and Go right behind. His track closed down on Bloody 9. Oh, brakes a wee bit late. Nearly makes contact with Bloody 9, and that gives Jump Go another chance. as we see Hasnain 282 in the background there. We are on the final lap, and your podium currently as it currently stands is still a Brownski, H Racing Green, and LGM Steve-O. Hasnain currently holds the fastest lap of a 1:37.433. Hasnain currently the fastest driver on the grid in the Ford, which is one of the fastest cars along that main straight. It actually is the fastest car, followed by the Dodge, the Ferrari, and the Lexus, as both Hasnain and Jutton make a pass on Mick McMock. As Goggins Minion there in the background is battling away with Solid Ninja Snake. Solid looking for a way past Mega. Both of these guys quick on this track in this series, but Jutton is falling behind both of them. Brownski has crossed the finish line, followed by H Racing Green. LGM Steve-O and Ryan Kagari third and fourth. Jamie will be followed by Hasnain. Then we've got Mick McMock, Communist Minion, and Solid Ninja Snake. Then Jutton followed by Bloody Nine. No, followed by Heineheim, then Bloody Nine, followed by Wedgiebo, who is then followed by Ronan GT Delaney. I'm curious to see what happened to Jutton and Bloody Nine there, possibly a coming together of the Margarita boys. But there we go. I believe, if my maths is definitely correct, Brownski is the champion. Brownski went from last to first to win this race, followed by H Racing Green and Steve-O. That has been AOR GT Sport Season 16, the Constructors Challenge, the third Constructors Challenge, Round 7, here at Fuji. Join us next week, where we have the finale. We will be back in the GT4 cars. We will be at the Red Bull Ring. So, yeah. That is us. That is it from us here at Gaming Kin. As always, there is always room for you here at Gaming Kin if you want to be our friend. And as I say far too often in these times, please, 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 stay safe out there.